right. Good morning. We're here. Better late than never. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I know it's a little bit of time today. Totally slipped my mind about an earlier appointment I had agreed to this morning, and through the scheduling off a little bit. But that's okay. It's always nice to check in. I wouldn't leave everybody without a live stream for the day. So let's see who's here today. If you are here, say hello. Don't forget to say hi. Let me know in the chat. Start off with my coffee, and still getting going today. And it's shaping up to be a busy day, not just for the market, what's going to happen in the market. Obviously, that's kind of the title of the stream. Waiting for the Fed not announcing until this afternoon, obviously. But good morning, Stan. Welcome. I've just got my coffee, and who else is here tuning in? It always takes a few minutes for people to get the notification to tune in. I know there's always a little bit of a delay. And Abigail's here. Hello. Good morning, Abigail. How are you? And good morning. Yes, MC, welcome. And it's so yeah, it's 2:30 Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. I guess their meeting ends at 2 o'clock from what I've read. And the announcement comes at around 2:30. Let me know anybody's, I think the prediction is 75 basis points, 0.75%. Let me know if anybody has any other predictions. I know last time Bank of Canada was kind of expected to do 75 basis points, but they only did 50. I don't know. Will the Fed follow? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll definitely see. And with that, just kind of looking at them, looking at everything happening today, it seems to be everybody's waiting. Like the market's not. It's not. It's kind of. Everything's just kind of waiting to see. Everything is a little bit, I would say, in the portfolio is a little bit lower today, but I think everybody's kind of pausing to see what happens. And good morning, Nadia. What's your prediction, Nadia, on the U.S. rate announcement? I know we're in Canada here. And good morning, Rod. Welcome. Big dump of snow in Edmonton. That's no good. Although it's funny. I'm on the West Coast, and I had to go to an appointment this morning, and a little bit on part of the highway actually had like a minuscule dusting of snow, and I was surprised because when I was driving down, it was dark still, and then coming back home, it's like, oh, there's a little bit of snow on the side of this road here. I guess for some reason this little spot had a bit of snow, and thankfully not a dump. But I think on the West Coast we're supposed to maybe get some on next week, maybe, because it's cold. It's cold today. I've had to put heat on, that's for sure. And Nadia thinks maybe 50 basis points. Yeah, we'll see. I think, I think it's going to be from everything I'm kind of following, I think it's going to be 75 basis points from, because I think the states always kind of maybe sticks to their guns a little bit more. But what will be interesting is I think what the wording is that goes with that. That's always, I think, always kind of the interesting thing to digest later. I don't know why I have my headphones on still. And yeah, so I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's always hard to know. That's it. MC is the consensus. And like I just said, yeah, it's always the wording that goes with this afterwards that always kind of gives the indication of what's happening. It's almost like the wording of the release is more telling than the actual increase, because it lets us know what the future holds a little bit with their stance. So we'll see definitely what happens. It's always kind of interesting. I mean, I guess obviously everywhere has to get inflation down. So if they think they're doing the right thing, they think they're doing the right thing, and we have to just kind of wait now. So roughly 2:30 Eastern time. So 11:30 on the West Coast. So you'll have to kind of figure out where you are. So it might be some interesting action, if I think a lot of people are waiting, the market's kind of waiting to see what the heck happens. I think a lot of this stuff is already priced into a lot of the stock, a lot of our investments in stocks, but kind of the market, I think, leads a lot of stuff in what's happening. But it'll be interesting to see, more so like what MC said, and we said it's the commentary going forward. Are we going? I think we're kind of over. I mean, this is only my opinion on how I kind of read things. I think we're almost. You can kind of see it with Bank of Canada. They've slowed it. I mean, they've slowed down a little bit, and they're still increasing. It's 50. I mean, in Canada, I mean, obviously 0.5% is still, it's still a substantial increase, and it's a lot more than they normally make moves, right? Normally it would be a quarter of a percent, right? So they've been doing big moves, but with that slowdown from 175, it's signaling, I think, a little. I think we're hopefully getting over the worst of it now, hopefully, and we'll see. Let me know. Obviously, let me know your thoughts on that. Welcome, Vic. Good morning. Thanks for joining on. And there we go. Go Oilers, Edmonton Oilers. It's the rivalry between. I'm not sure where you are, Vic. If you're in Calgary, you'll be butting heads, but I'm not sure where you live. But nice to come on. It's always good to come on live. I mean, I usually go on 8 to 9, but this is kind of nice time too. It seems like we've got more people. I don't know, more people. Maybe I don't know if it actually makes a difference when people, if they can jump on. As long as the coffee's hot, that's all that really matters. So going forward, let me see. I did have some news. I always like to kind of pull up some news. Obviously, the big one is the Fed decision later on. There's no point in necessarily reading and pulling up an article for that. But I did have one more. It was on digital payments, which I find kind of interesting. Popped up today in my feed just now. And good morning, Sharma. S. Sharma. Actually, I think I'm pronouncing. I think that's initial. And Vic, Google below $90 US. There we go. Is it down today? I had obviously the morning. As soon as you have something going on first thing in the morning, it always throws you off for the day. Let's pull up Google. Alphabet. Oh yeah, there you go. 89 right now, Vic. 89.32. I don't have any Google outside of obviously. Oh, there you go. Thanks for sharing that 1550 CDR version. So if anybody's got that in their portfolio, might be time to go. I think it's like as ugly as everything is out there. I think everybody that's sticking through this time is going to be rewarded in the next few years, because you stick through it, and I think we'll start to see the power. I'm starting to see it a little bit in my portfolio. Is the power of like dollar cost averaging, bringing the average price down for things, and slowly seeing it increase over the longer term time frame, and just seeing. For example, I shared on the channel yesterday. I did, because it was the first I did the dividend update, and it was like the biggest dividends that I've had yet on the portfolio, which is awesome. So it's kind of like a bit of a boost and reassurance, to be able to start to reinvest that. It was like almost $50, $43.70. I forget what, 43.17, I think it was. I can't quite remember. But so that's nice to see, right? And I think in the long term, obviously, because we're buying these shares at reduced prices, I think in the long term, once everybody starts to, as everybody starts to go back into the market, I think we'll be in good shape in the long term as a long-term investor. Vic, that's a great question. MogoTrade, I have not used it myself. Maybe someone in the chat, Vic, can help you out with that. I haven't. Wealthsimple is free other than the US account. So does MogoTrade have US accounts? I'm not really sure. I haven't looked at it. And the TFSA limit, I think, will be coming in. It should be any kind of time now. Officially, it's I think it's November-ish, maybe towards the end of November. I think I read somewhere. And Candace, good morning. My time. Good morning, my time. It's 9. What time is it here? 9:08. A little bit late today, but it's all good. All good. See new faces at different times, which is good. And I love these questions rolling in here. Sharma. I'll just call you Sharma. Maybe that's easier. It doesn't sound as funny, but I'm not sure if that's your first name or last name, but it's your initial, obviously. But pick up more CDR for different companies. I haven't. I've got Tesla. I plan to pick up more Tesla when I can. Obviously, waiting for paydays is always the part. I don't plan on. I haven't really looked at any other ones. Obviously, Vic, I think, got possibly Google on there, but I haven't. I haven't. Just Tesla. A lot of the CDRs, like of any of the companies that I would really want to purchase, a lot of them are in the kind of in the S&P 500 in the ETF kind of anyway. So it's kind of covered at any overlap, but just the one for Tesla, because I always kind of wanted to have Tesla on the side. And I don't have a US dollar account, so I decided to go that route, and the price that's lower, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of pick up shares. Although you can do fractional shares in US dollars, but I don't have the US account with Wealthsimple, so let's save with that. And I think it's 65, Vic. Someone, I forget who it was that mentioned it. It's either 65 or 68, but 65 sounds about right, I think. Okay, so Moga charges less for US dollars. Okay, yeah, I don't know. There must be someone that has tried it, but I haven't. It's funny. I've heard of Mogo, but I thought it was just like I thought it was just like high interest savings account, but I could be wrong. I guess I was obviously wrong. Hasn't even been on my radar. So if it makes sense, maybe that's if you have a lot of US stocks, it might make sense. Oh, so it's warm there. Yeah, it's cold here. It's like in the single digits here. Cold. All of a sudden too. I'm like having to put on my toque and down, vest, double layers, because it's cold all of a sudden. And so Justin, his second 65. So I think 65 is right. And we'll leave that one out of it. Hot air. I don't know if Justin and Candace, what we did, I might have missed the very beginning, but we were obviously Fed, I was going to say Bank of Canada, Fed announcement. What's your prediction? The consensus is 75 basis points, but I'd love to know your thoughts, and love to know kind of your thoughts on what the how the wording will go in terms of what the future holds. I think that's more as MC was saying, that it's the wording almost that's as important as what the rate is coming out. And Justin thinks 75. Yeah, that's the consensus. We'll see soon enough, right? 2:30 Eastern time. So you're thinking they're going to stay firm? That'd be interesting. Yeah. Okay. And Justin's the same. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think you're probably on the marks there. It's almost like the words have more impact than the rate, and then they can always you can word it a certain way that has the same effect, right? Which is always interesting. And then you always have a little bit of wiggle room. Whereas opposing if you say, because they've been saying, right, we're like, they're trying to do the 1970s style increases to curb this, and if they stop, right, and all of a sudden they have to change it up, it's harder. It makes them look bad, but it's easier to kind of, I think, slip in a lower they slip in, like if next time it starts to slow down, things start to adjust, right? They can easily pivot easier next time, as opposed to, it's always easier to like reduce it than for the market anyways. And yeah, retail traders get scared of what they hear. Yeah, it's very true. I think we've seen that. Like Justin, we looked at we read things, and with the amount of like retail that's sold off, and we see that with the market, right? I think people people panic, right? It's easy to panic. I mean, I can look at I can speak for myself, right? You can look at your portfolio, and if you see it that it's down 15, 14, 15% more, depending what you have invested in, maybe less depending what kind of investor and how long you've been investing. But it's easy to see a drop and panic and go, I'm going to sell him out, and that's, I think, what a lot of people have done, and that's what happens with people. It's they don't I don't know, like, my goal with investments is that everything's minimum 10 years, because for me, my TFSA is for retirement, and I'm still 25 years, roughly 20, 25 years from actual, like, retirement age, so I've got lots of time still. And I have a short period of time as opposed to a lot of people. A lot of younger people have 40, 50 years left almost. But I don't let one or two, I'm not letting 1 or 2 years, I'm not going to sell at a loss, because obviously I have some speculative stuff in my portfolio, but I think in the long term, from 5 or 10 years from now, that will be what will be a decent. Well, we'll see, right? I wish no one has a crystal ball, but it's easy for people to get scared when you see it down. But that just kind of, I think, kind of says, obviously you might need something for an emergency or something like that, but you probably shouldn't be putting any kind of investment into any kind of equity. Although, gosh, bonds and stuff, but, like, if it's money you think you're going to need in the next 5 years, you should probably not have it in any kind of market. You should probably just have it in obviously inflation is not great, but with interest rates and everything else. But if you need the money, you probably should keep it in just a regular savings account. That's my opinion. If you think you're going to need something in 5 years, there's always emergencies, right? But I don't think a market sell-off like we've been seeing, I wouldn't consider that an emergency to have to sell everything, especially because we're not. I'm not a trader. It'd be different if people are. We can't do this in our TFSA anyways, but we can't trade a lot in there. But unless if you're smarter and buy and sell and figure out what the heck's going on. But it's, for most people, I think the TFSA is like a long-term thing, so it doesn't make sense. For me, it doesn't make sense to sell anything. We'll catch up on these comments. So Vic thinks there's going to be slowdown of interest rates in December, and we get a Santa Claus rally, so you can sell. Okay, we didn't get the Santa Claus rally last year, but maybe this year's the year. It's hard to know. But looking back, Vic, from the June, the summer lows, if you kept going, if people kept consistently putting in dollar cost averaging, you're kind of coming back up. This is kind of one way to look at it. I'm not 39. Yeah. How old am I? 46. I'm 46. I have to add that up in my head. That's how old I am. Takes me a while. I don't feel it though. Yeah. So I do have a ways to go till I retire. I don't think anybody retires at 65 anymore though. My parents didn't. I don't think most people. People are living longer anyways, but I don't think a lot of people do, because they can't afford it either. That's the scary thing. And Vic, background video. We'll see. Everything slowly comes out. You have to just keep watching videos. There's little nuggets in all the videos that mention. And sorry, this is a big comment, covers my face here. Wealthsimple gave me a scare. I was looking at TFSA and saw U.S. stocks in there, but didn't. And you forgot. Looks like you forgot to pay pro fee. Oh, they moved the tab. Yeah. So what they're doing, and I'm not super happy about this. It's my one rant for the day. Is they're apparently they're going to be like they've started. You can see it with all the updates. I think Candace, like if they have the invest, they're consolidating their apps. So they have like the trade app, they had the invest app, they had the cash app, and they're combining them all to one. And I had a note like because I use the Wealthsimple invest for my RSP, and there I had a notice come through that they're they're basically stopping that app. They're not updating it anymore, and they're going to be eventually phasing it out. And it's all going to be on the main, like the whatever that main. I don't have my phone with me to pull it up and show it. What is just the main trade, like the Wayne Wealthsimple app. So I guess they're moving all the tabs around. I guess that's with what it would be. I'm I'm not unless they're going to do maybe some changes. I don't like checking my invest stuff on the other app because the invest app has a bit better layout to find it. And this is the thing, you just can't find it in the new app. So maybe they'll kind of adjust things, but I'm guessing that's why Candace said it's all these weird tabs and everything everywhere that you're trying to find. But I guess it makes sense because they probably want to bring people. They probably want to bring like there's probably people on the invest side that don't do trading and vice versa, right? So they probably want to bring everybody kind of together so they can cross sell the different all the different products in one place and get people to use more of their products. And obviously, I mean, the trade part is free for Canadian stocks, but if you're investing on the invest side, like the robo advisor, there's a small percentage that they charge. So they're probably they're just trying to make money. It's basically what they're trying to do. But I've been happy with it. I'm just not happy about them switching the app. But I'll get used. Like everything, you just get used to it. And 76, yeah, I guess it was. I don't remember much of that year, but the 70s were good. It was good growing up in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, yeah. No cell phones. Just had our bikes. Didn't have as many. I don't know. I think you just don't have as many worries as a kid. It sounds like it was easy, but I'm sure my parents were probably stressed out like crazy back in the 70s. Oh, so you still pay? Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I don't know the issue. I don't know how if you can switch. I don't think you can switch over individual. I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I know you can switch over investments on the invest side, which I did, which was pretty straightforward. But you still have to sell them and then move them over. So that would probably be the same with trading. That's a question I don't know. I haven't looked into. I've only looked into. I haven't used any other product for you know individual stock investing. Just Wealthsimple. I find it easy, pretty straightforward to do it, and the price is right, because you're not paying $9.95 a trade. And for the app, wish we could sort of stocks. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So you can put the losers on the bottom, and then so you can sort it sector dividends. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, maybe they'll build that. I mean, I think you can send, Jason. I think you can probably send them an email on that as some feedback of things. I mean, maybe now that they're going to be pushing everything into one app, they can probably obviously have more resources in one place as opposed to splitting the resources up into multiple different apps with probably makes sense, and with interfaces. One thing I haven't checked out in a long time is the web version. I know some people still use the web version of Wealthsimple, but I just find the app works quite well, for better or worse. Because the downside with the app is like you're always, if you're on your phone all the time, you're always checking, you're always kind of checking what your stocks are doing, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But those would be good ideas. You should send them a message on that for sure. And OMC still pays for her trades. National Bank does have a free one. I think Candace can kind of vouch for that. I remember hearing in her video that she uses National Bank account. I think she uses that for. I could be wrong, Candace. If you're watching, you'll obviously correct me. But I think she uses it for her day trading account, if I'm not mistaken, just to keep it separate. I think she mentioned that on a live stream. And Sharma, yeah, that would be nice if you could just automatically reinvest your dividends. It may be coming because they've got a new feature on there where you can now do automatic regular purchases for individual stocks. You can set up, like, I think you can set up daily. I think it depends on the stock, but daily, weekly, monthly on something, which is good. I'll probably set up, because I have that, like I'm doing that. I'm doing a Sharma. I mean, you probably know if you follow the channel, like I'm doing that 1 year kind of money saving challenge. I was wrong finger. I'm not subscribing to StreamYard, and I'm putting that money into Brookfield for a year. So what I'm probably going to do is just set up. I haven't done it yet, but I'll do a monthly. I'll set up for a monthly purchase of that to go into Brookfield. The only thing is, I probably won't, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep it as like official as possible, and the StreamYard subscription to US dollars. So what I've been doing is calculating like the daily, what on the first of the month, what the exchange rate is, and then using that exact amount. So I mean, I could kind of fudge it a little bit and do an average, but I'm just trying to kind of keep it like super official to see how much I'll save over the year. And Candace does use National Bank. There you go. No commissions. I should check that one out. Not that I need to organize and have another bank somewhere or whatever, but it might be kind of interesting to see, just to see the difference on some things. Yeah, National Bank. So if it's free is always good. Good call. There you go. For somebody's interested, BMO has a no commission fee for their ETFs. Oh, so if you have some of their ETFs, they have some good ones. What's the popular one there? They have a covered call one that's quite popular. ZWC, I think it is. And I know Wealthsimple in the invest side uses ZFL as their bond if you're into bonds. So there's lots of ETFs. Actually, BMO has some good ETFs. That's good to know. Actually, I did not know that. Always learn something on the live streams. And there, okay, so you're trusting out Desjardins. Yeah, well, I'm sure you're doing it. I'll be watching the channel, and I get Vic. Everybody go when you do. I'm gonna be sure you probably are gonna do a comparison video. I'm sure. It'd be interesting to see the different ones. Everybody probably has their favorite. That's the thing, right? I mean, if there's a few different ones that are free, you're probably just gonna go towards the one that you like you interface the most. And VIX day traded. Oh, okay. You did a bit in the bull market. Yeah. I don't know. It's not for me. That's going back to talk about retail traders panicking and selling. That would be me. I'd buy something and be like, what do I do? Although it might be fun to obviously I have to do way more research on what I'm actually trying, what I would actually number one invest in. Number two, learning what to actually look for and everything else, because this would be as Candace says, this would be me probably the first day she got wrecked. Yeah. Oh, that's right. They had they did have very early in the morning, they had the TSX was down. That's right. It went down for a bit. It was doing quite well actually in the morning. And then then once the trades opened up again, it just had just a decline for the rest of the day. So I think everybody's just not doing anything. So hopefully you can make up something today, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to, don't chase. Hopefully it works out. But I was reading an article on that, and there was a lot of people were upset about that. I'll have to check out national banks trading thing. There's been a few people that have happened to that. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping comments here. Okay, so that's not. You didn't lose it all. Too strong a word. That's losing $300. That's like almost like what my Bitcoin what my Bitcoin ETF does sometimes. Not quite 300. Feels like it. Feels like it though. Yeah, those are the days. That's not good. It's never good to have a red day. And yeah, I don't know the whole system. What happened? I guess it took them a while to turn on the backup or something. I wasn't. I saw it, but I wasn't doing it. Well, no, the only thing I purchased is interesting because actually the only thing I purchased yesterday on the first was I did it first thing in the morning was Brookfield, and it was a fractional share. And usually those don't settle for a while. A lot of times it settles just before the end of the day. And funnily enough, that one it literally settled within a few minutes, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then shortly after the market was actually all down, but I don't know why. I don't actually know what happened. It was kind of odd that the fractional share closed so quickly. I've always had to kind of wait usually till the end of the day when it kind of finally processes. But so, and that was the only thing I was looking to do yesterday. So it didn't impact me, but obviously it impacted some people on that. And then, yeah, I did have one article that I was going to share. So let me pull that up while I remember it. And I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, but in typical government function, they seem to want to get involved. But so Bank of Canada is setting out the headline. Obviously, you can probably read it yourself, but sets out a path for regulating digital payment providers. So what they are basically doing, and this is what the central bank has been tasked is to become the regulator for like payment service providers for like digital wallets and transfer services. So one would be, for example, coming out of the States is Strike is one of them, and the other one that's coming out is the one from Block. It makes mention of here. So it's basically like they're going to regulate kind of domestic and foreign payment service providers in Canada, more on the digital side. And so that will be kind of interesting to see. Now, this article's actually changed because when I was reading it earlier, it did actually make mention of. Oh no, it still does. So Block's Square, like the Square payment system, and then also Stripe. So obviously more oversight on everything, but it might be interesting, and hopefully, I mean, obviously they're saying here, I think it's likely starting in 2024. So like anything from that goes through the government always takes forever and costs more than it's supposed to. But they'll have basically a this supervisory in place and rules by 2024. So that might bring in some more options in terms of digital payments into Canada. There's a Strike card, and I know the Strike card in the United States is what it does is it uses the Lightning network, but it doesn't, from my understanding, is it's like a fiat money on ramp, but then it settles in Lightning, so you're not actually trading your Bitcoin. So you're putting in US, it settles it and comes out the other end. So it's not you're not making a trade because obviously there's any kind of capital. That's the hard part with a lot of these new payment systems. Like for example, Lightning Network, in theory, if you're making a trade, it's considered a trade. So if I'm paying someone in Lightning in Bitcoin and I'm losing money or making money, it's considered typically it's considered a trade, even if I'm sending $1 to somebody. So you're supposed to report that. I'm going to go out on a limb and think not a lot of people probably do. But so obviously they'll have to get involved with this to make sure I'm thinking that they do. It's interesting. I think in time, if it becomes an actual payment system, there'll have to be some thresholds. I think if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on the country. I think in the UK, if you're trading or if you're sending or doing anything with Bitcoin under a certain dollar amount per transaction, you aren't taxed on any kind of capital gains, but there's no loss or anything like that as long as it's a certain kind of amount. I think it's the UK. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Canada here, because obviously, and it'll be interesting to see what Twitter kind of rolls out, because there's obviously talk of moving that into some type of digital payment system as well, especially now that they're going to be doing, if you're following Twitter, they're doing the verification now that you can pay another monthly subscription, right? Pay $8 a month and you get verified. It gives you other benefits and stuff too, but there's talk of possibly also turning Twitter into some kind of, because Elon obviously started PayPal, starting some kind of payment processing through that as well. So that would be interesting. Lots happening. Always lots happening in the digital space that it's hard to keep track of everything and seeing what's going on. But I did find that that kind of interesting. What's kind of happening with that. That was really all the news that I had. Obviously, coming in, the big news is the Fed, which we talked about. So if anybody else has any questions, obviously this one, the live stream coming in at a different time. We will be ending at a different time, obviously. I have like it's one of those days where it's like back-to-back Zoom. Well, I don't consider this a Zoom call, but I've got like work back-to-back Zoom calls half the day, it seems, which gets kind of annoying, but such is life. But if anybody has any questions or comments, as always, drop them in. In terms of the channel, if you haven't checked out the channel in a while, thanks to everybody that has subscribed. It's awesome. It's awesome to have everybody jumping on these live streams. The one thing about live streams is we get more and more each time. It's kind of, a couple more people show up or a couple more people leave comments. So it's great to see people from the channel being able to connect on live and ask questions, and obviously we always learn something from somebody in the comments, which is great as well. But if you haven't checked out the channel for a while, I did do a portfolio update earlier in the week, and then also yesterday there's a video posted yesterday with the dividends, so you can check that out. We'll do another portfolio update coming towards the end of the week. Usually I like to do usually it's typically on a Friday after the market closes. If I don't get a chance to get out Friday, I do get something out on the weekend always, just to see how things are doing. No new plans for really purchasing anything paydays this week, but I think it kind of will depend on what happens today a little bit, see what happens, but no big plans. I'm still paying off those stupid tires, and so just not a ton of extra to put in for right now, but because that bill came in. The bills always come in, so I want to get that taken care of before I put any big chunk extra into my TFSA. If there eventually is an announcement, we talked about the TFSA limits. If there eventually is like a formal announcement, I'll put a video up on the channel too, so you can get notified. You'll see that just as the final amount, and just keep plugging away. Dividends will keep coming in, and what I'll keep doing, as if I'm not making any other deposits, all the dividends are going to be basically re-put in is not even a proper way to say it, but reinvested into that respective stock as a fractional share if I'm able to. If I'm not able to, I'll just kind of keep it on the side for when I do another purchase, basically what we'll do, or roll it into, probably, if anything extra, all the extra funds seems to go into either VFV or VDY. That kind of would be those are the core core two, I'm just really trying to build up. Although I have had my eye, and earnings are coming out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I better check. I am looking forward to seeing what happens with there's earnings. Sorry, November 8th is the earnings, and Greenlane Renewables has earnings on November 8th. I'm interested to see how this one is doing. That's kind of I might actually. I mean, it's down right now, and it might actually be a good time to kind of pick some of that up. That's one I do have one of the more speculative ones I do have a bit of my eye on lately. And Zach, welcome. Yeah, good morning. A little bit different time today, but so thanks for taking the time to pop in and say hi. And great question. So no, it's finished warming up. I looked at that this morning actually, so it's not warming up anymore, and it hasn't. It should start. Usually, it kind of comes if I remember correctly from the stuff I have from the Solana I have staked outside of Wealthsimple. Usually, it's like once a day now. You'll start to see every day in a bit. You'll see. I should start to see it start to basically make Solana, receive rewards. I will post a video. That's a once it kind of starts rolling in. So what you will know once it's so it's stop warning takes about what 3 days, because I did it on the weekend. So it's started going. Yeah, so there should be a little bit in there probably. I would expect tomorrow or maybe later today. Haven't bought any more of it. Just have that original. I put $50 in. It's down today, but not really paying attention to that one. Those are definitely like longer term. I mean, a lot of people do trade digital assets, but they're, I think, long term. If you have a long term hold, you keep it staked and make your APR, and then see what, cross your fingers and see what happens in the long run for when if ever. Well, it will. I don't say with if ever, but the bull market will. Everything will return. It will be back eventually. It always does, right? History repeats. So we got to get through this tough time. And the question will be, I mean, speaking of with any digital asset, I don't know what it. I don't know what it will do. What ones will take off, but we'll see. MC. Oh, so they're getting okay. So they're getting bearish on the heading on today. Yeah. Oh, Tipo Master, welcome. What do you think of this growing meme of a rally if the hike is only 50? Well, if it's only 50, it's probably going to go crazy. We shall know. It's going to be what's going to really tip it off will be and MC mentioned it before, and Candace mentioned it. Everybody in the channel kind of mentioned a little bit is the wording is going to be what makes things shift. That's what everybody's waiting for. Not necessarily the rate. It's the words. And from the consensus of the watchers, it's not going to be today. But again, we could be surprised. I don't know. If to have a crystal ball, right? And then again, hindsight's always 2020. So it's like end of the day, we're just risking, kind of not sure what we're doing, I guess. So we'll have to see. But if it's 50, I think we'll be moon. What do we call it? Moonvember. If that happens, but we had a good October. We did end. Tipo Master, we did end. We had a decent October, so I'm not complaining. Had a bit of gains coming through, slowly kind of coming back up. So if we can continue the same things in November, we'll see. I'd be happy with that. Yeah. So there we go. Well, thanks everybody. We're basically almost an hour now. This time goes so. I always like start rolling, and then you look at the clock and you're like, holy crap, it's almost an hour now, and it's almost time to say sayonara. But on that note, we will be back tomorrow at the regular time. The best thing to kind of know when there's going to be a live stream is to be obviously be subscribed to the channel, and then have notifications put on, because what I will do is I will always, if there's going to be a live stream, there will be a video posted that will notify you. So you can always go on and get notified that it's going to be when it does go live. So if there's any change for some reason with time and scheduling, we always try to go on between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Pacific time. But obviously life sometimes gets in the way of YouTube. And it's not always at the same time, but we do try and get on when I'm available. So we'll leave it at that. It's coming up to 10, and I have like I said, a Zoom. I do have a Zoom meeting I have to jump onto at 10. So I am definitely going to need to refill my coffee before that happens, and get something to eat, because I haven't had any breakfast yet today. So I have to eat something very quickly before jumping on the meeting. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for spending time and hanging out. I always learn a lot. Hopefully you do too. On your way out, don't forget, hit that like button. Would definitely be appreciated on the channel. So thanks for watching. There we go. We'll leave it at that. Thanks, Jason. We'll see you everybody. We'll see you all in the next one.